Hello everyone, I'm even in Starlight 97, aka James, back again. Today before I get into the video, I'm just going to say it's been a few months since I last made a video and uploaded to YouTube. I've just been really busy and, ADHD, it just takes away the concentration. But I said I was going to do 4 collection videos this year, but my motivation kind of went downhill and I've only uploaded 2 this year. So I'm going to try and make up for it and do this collection to make up for lost time. So this is going to be covering my entire ERTL collection, which I'll start with engines, then road vehicles, then rolling stock, and then we'll be going into extra variations, as well as the humans. I promise the figures will come eventually. I'll also be doing models from the other brands, and then I'm going to be showing off some miscellaneous bits as well that I have with me. So let's get to the video. By the way, I'm not going to cover any take along, take and play adventures or push along. I don't have any push along, the latter by the way, but this is mainly just focusing on the ERTL stuff. So let's begin. We'll start off here with the standard gauge engines. We have Thomas, was in good condition when I got it, but he's recently been getting a lot of paint chips. As you can see on the cab and on the side here, I know the lighting's not great. I know the lighting isn't great, but I'll just have to stick with what I have. Edward, so moving on, Henry, Gordon, James, Percy, Toby, Duck, Donald, Douglas, Oliver, Diesel, Daisy, Bill, this is Ben. By the way, these versions of Bill and Ben are the plastic face versions. There is a metal version where they have their faces are molded onto the body, which is made of metal. I used to have a model of Ben, but unfortunately I got rid of it. So, well, I much prefer the plastic faces because they're a bit more separate, and well, I wish they did that with the Donald and Douglas and Toby. But anyway, moving on now. Boko with a custom painted red buffer beam. May want to redo this someday because the paint is starting to show some chip loss. City of Truro, a faceless engine. Well, technically it's faceless because they never had a face in the TV series. Mavis, Flying Scotsman. Oops, sorry. Just let me readjust the camera a bit. Stepney, D261 or Class 40. Derek, Ari, Bert, Diesel 10, Lady, Splatter, Dodge, Salty, Harvey, Emily, Fergus. Yep, I finally have a new Emily, by the way. Arthur, Murdoch, and the final TV series character for standard gauge, Spencer. And that's all of the TV series characters. Well, technically Flying Scotsman does count because he made an appearance in the Great Race later on in the CGI era, but this was during the model era he was around. But coincidentally with a face, he was going to be a TV series in the 3rd series of the model era, but due to budget constraints, well, then we know the rest is history. But anyway, moving on, let's look at the characters that appeared only in the Railway series books. So we have Bluebell, which is, funnily enough, a retooling of Thomas. There was a prototype, but I think maybe ERTL probably wanted to save money and use a pre-existing tooling to make their Bluebell, which I can understand, but I don't think he should be an E2, she should be an E2, but more than a P class, because that's her actual basis. Anyway, Neil, a brand new model since the last collection video. Also have a new model of Harvey as well from the last video. D199, D7101, aka Bear, Wilbert, and 16, who's in much better condition than I just got last year. This version of 16 you see here is the one I got off eBay last year to replace the old one not in the best shape. So that's all the standard gauge engines, both from Railway Series and TV Series. So we're going to look at the narrow gauge engines now, starting off with the Scarlowry Railway engines. So here we have, starting here, we have Scarlowry, Renius, Sir Handel, Peter Sam, Rusty, Duncan, Duke, Smudger, and Bertram. Now let's look at the mountain engines. There are only 3 of them, with them being Godred, Culdee, and Lord Harry. And then we have the only 2 Arlesdale engines, Frank, and Jock, the very rarest and the holy grail, probably the holy grail of the engines of the ERTL, but I say there's another one that's more rarer than the Jock in my opinion. Alright, so those are all my standard, so those are all the engines, including standard gauge, narrow gauge, and the mountain and the Arlesdale. So the next section we're going to look at is roadway vehicles. Before we start the next section, I wanted to show off someone I missed out from the previous section. So it's a Falcon, which is a repaint of retooling of Sir Handel. The only difference is the nameplate. What a coincidence. I think if they ever did stew it, that would mean changing the funnel, but sadly that never came round, but I'll explain more on that later in the video. So let's get rid of Falcon. I'm sorry for forgetting to put him in the section with the other engines. Let's get on to the next section, shall we, which covers the roadway vehicles. And the other miscellaneous non-rail vehicles. So let's go then. Let's begin. So we have Terence, Bertie, Trevor, the Scrap Trevor, which is a weather-in version of the regular Trevor. I need to get one in better condition soon, eventually. Bulgy, a better condition Bulgy, because some of the stickers on the other Bulgy I got a decade ago were in really bad shape. Also, I did have a childhood one, and there'll be 2 more, and I'll explain more of that later on. But I think I had one early in my childhood days, but probably got lost or thrown out. And moving on, we have George the Steamroller. He was another character that I had from childhood, but he was broken, so he got thrown out as well. And Caroline as well, who I also had one from my childhood, but yeah, the wheels were missing, and she got thrown out. But 2008, for Christmas, I got a new one. Oh, yeah. That's nice. So we have Butch the tow truck, which he had a proper functioning hook that was not static, part of the mold. Lorry 1, this is the weathered Lorry 1. I am considering, since I also like to make a custom version of just the non-clean version of the Lorry 1, but only time was that. Lorry 2, Lorry 3, Thumper, Elizabeth. She's missing this little door thing on the back when you tip it around. You would usually, if you had like rocks in it, they would just pour out like a dump truck. But I really want to get one that has the tipping thing that has the door on it, but they're probably getting a bit expensive on eBay, so I'll probably save that for another time. Anyways, we have, continuing on, we have Jack and Alfie. Finally got a new Jack at last. Yippee! Okay, let's look at the vehicles now without the faces. So we have Sir Topham Hatt's car, soft-sided lorry, Sodor mail van, fire engine, a Sodor taxi, Dyson low loader, it's quite a big item, a crawler crane, and Cranky, who is missing a hook. They are quite hard to find, and then they get lost really easily. I know from that experience. And my 2 air vehicles include Harold the helicopter and Tiger Moth the biplane. And here are my 2 water vehicles. We have Bulstro the barge and the Sodor Valley or Sodor Made canal boat. It says Sodor Valley. If it was Sodor Made, it would look a lot better, but it just says Sodor Valley because Sodor Made was the Sitov one that appeared in Sitov Man's Holiday. So anyways, so that covers, so those are my non-rail vehicles, and yeah, so that's the non-rail vehicle section. The next section I'll be covering rolling stock. Alrighty, welcome to the next section of this video, which will cover rolling stock. I know it's taken a while to set up, but it's just when you set up stuff. But anyways, I've gotten a few more bits recently. Well, I have pretty much every piece of rolling stock in the Thomas ERTL range, but I'm pretty sure that I could add a few more duplicates, but for now I'm just going to start saving, and I need to use the money for other things. So, alright then, let's get on to the next section. So here we're starting with coaches, then we'll do trucks, and then the cranes and brake vans. We have Annie, Clarabelle, Henrietta, Old Slow Coach, Catherine, Isabella, 5 of the old coaches, whereas this one here is unique because it has that U-hook coupling that I got from that Sodor Viaduct Bridge set last year. Quite interesting though. It looks very nice. Well, I don't know if I can connect this with any of the other coaches, but maybe when in due time I'll have a look. 5 express coaches with 2 brake coaches and 3 compositives. My one and only Gordon's Special Maroon coach, and 4 Sodor Mail coaches. And now let's look at the trucks now. We have Scruffy, a total of 12 troublesome trucks, with 2 of these that I custom painted with details. This one is a bit of a strange oddity. This one is supposed to, with the closed eyes, is supposed to be facing forwards, but it strangely is facing backwards for some reason. I don't know if this counts as a factory error. I could be wrong. It could count as a factory error, but I've only seen one version of this before. I don't know why though. It just feels a bit strange that they would put the face on this guy backwards. If it was a front-facing truck, it would have the closed eyes laughing. Strangely enough, but you really can't go wrong with it, can you? But I suppose it's something I have to live with. 4 Titmuth milk tankers, 4 tar wagons, 4 Sodor fuel tankers, the Chinese Dragon and the Whale Wagon, scrap wagon, say from scrap whale wagon with the scrap Trevor, which you saw in the previous section, but I put him there just for like how it came with it. 2 Lorry 1 conflats, the pump trolley, 2 of Henry's Forest log cars, 6 of these silly trucks, which I've been wanting for years, although I wanted to get my hands on some of these for years, and now I have 6, but I'm finally happy about it. 9 slate trucks, 8 of which have their slates. This one is a bit of an interesting one. The other trucks that have the slates are normally in the colour of a realistic of grey, but this one is just like painted brown all over, because as you can see it was made in 1999, so it came with that quarry playset accessory destination thing, but you only get like one of these in that set. If it came with two, it would have been a lot better, but having one just feels like a little bit of a test example. But oh well, nothing can replace Out of the Ordinary. I think this is a bit of a unique piece, although this one came out in 1999, a couple of years before they released them individually, like you get in a 2-pack. Oh man, this is really having trouble balancing. Oh bother, I'll have to place it this way. Never mind. I suppose they're always going to be like, ah, oh, damn it, why do I always keep knocking them over? Yeah, unfortunately. Oh, by the way, you may notice the conflat here has a little bit of a pin to it, which I cut off from a cocktail stick, and as well as a slate truck, because I wanted to fix them up because they were a bit broken. Well, anyways, we have 4 Defuse It gunpowder wagons. Then we go on to my brake fans. We have Toad and the Spiteful brake fan, which are the only 2 brake fans in the range. And then we have 2 breakdown trains, one of which has a pin and one is the coupling's a switch, but this one is supposed to be a U-hook, but the coupling broke off years ago and it's missing like one of those bar things which hold stable things to put into place. Yeah, that is a item I've had since childhood, and maybe one day I'd like to get a new one, but it's budgets that I have to be suspicious about. Right, so those are all of my bits of rolling stock. So those are all the cranes, trucks, coaches and brake fans. The next section will be very interesting because it's going to cover the special edition models. Stay tuned. Here we are for the next section of this video, and we're going to be looking at something interesting. We're going to be looking at the figures. We're also going to be looking at some special edition engines and different versions of the other models I have. But before we get into that though, I wanted to show off the figures. So yeah, we have a few. There is one that I'm missing, which is Lady Hat, but that's not too much of an issue right now. So let's take a look at the figures. So we have the Fat Controller, aka Sir Topham Hatt himself, 2 Porters, Mr. Conductor, which is a repaint of the Porter, and this Dowager Hat and Mrs. Kindly, which are still new in the packaging that I got off eBay last year. Yeah, if you read that, well, it has to have some markings on it. It's hard to tell what it says. I haven't taken these out yet, so I didn't really think I was going to plan to, but eventually one day if I ever do like film close-up scenes, I'll probably take them out. Well, the box is not in the best shape anyway because it has some markings on it. Well, I'm not going to throw away the box, that cardboard box. I'm just going to open out from the bottom. I'm not going to be that stupid. But anyways, let's move the figures to the side so we can look at the other engines, which I'm excited to show you. Okay, so we have these limited edition special metallic engines. We have Thomas, metallic. With the metallic ones, we're starting with the metallic ones, by the way. We have Thomas, Percy, Renius, which is the last one I was able to find, Sir Handel, Rusty, which the white dots in his pupils look bigger than on his regular models, strangely enough. By the way, some of these have wonky eyes. Just don't bug me about it. Duncan, Duke, and the one and only Railway Series mountain engine himself, Lord Harry. That's all the metallic models, but they did make a Henry and James, but strangely, I could never find them anywhere. I assume they never sold them in the UK, it was only exclusive to the United States. But if anyone out there does have a loose one that's in good condition of Henry and James, or a new in box version with the Thomas Henry and James, if they want to send it to me, then be my guest. Well, I'm sorry if I'm being a gimme pig here, but I'm not trying to, but if I ever want to complete the collection one day, well, if that's up to me, but I'm not really going to be stupid. I'm just going to be sensible and just, it's your, well, I'm sorry if I'm bugging you guys, but anyways, it's strange that they never made Edward, Gordon, or Toby, or Duck, or Oliver, or Scolary and Peter Sam, or even Godred and Coldy. I mean, Lord Harry is quite the unique one, funnily enough. But if I ever get... But I'm not going to waste my money on trying to get these new in box, but I want to try and focus more on others. But I'm not going to talk about that again. Anyways, we've got my gold 50-year edition, celebrating 50 years gold Thomas, which is not in the best shape, unfortunately. I really do need to get a replacement one eventually. But the one I have in good condition is this Silver Millennium Thomas, which I think would come out to celebrate the year 2000, which is probably around the time we had the 45th anniversary, no, 55th anniversary of the Railway series. Well, I'm surprised nobody even talked about that. But now we're going to be looking at some other versions of Thomas out here. We have my Santa Thomas, another Christmas themed Thomas with the Santa hat and the snowplow on its front. This Thomas is a bit of a unique one because it's a very different version. It's a pull back and go Thomas. When you pull him back, the wheels turn, but he's not really good at running because, one, I'm filming this on a carpet floor and it's not good and it would just stick really badly, but I couldn't run him. Also, they also made a Percy, Toby and a Bertie, but I don't have those versions, so I'm gonna probably have to stick with what I have. And we also have a couple of trucks, which are a Toy Box Scruffy, which is a repaint of this Scruffy himself, as well as this red Santa Toys truck, which is also a repaint of this Scruffy. Strangely, they use the same tool in a Scruffy, except they put the presents in. They molded him with presents, but the presents are actually removable. But notice on the toy box and the Santa Toys version of Scruffy, this one is new, by the way, as well as that Santa Thomas that I just talked about. The presents have switched sides, so there's two different sides on there. So if you look at this, if I compare, puts this one, the toy box Scruffy, on backwards. Notice how they have the same molds. What a coincidence. Yeah. So yeah, it's basically a repaint of Scruffy, but with added presents. Interestingly enough. Don't know why they chose to repaint that Scruffy red. Probably to make it stand out a bit more. But that's just my theory, or something. Okay, so... Oh, I also want to show something off quickly. This is my only paper face model from the 1980s, which is Birdie the Bus. This is a Bertie, but it's a sticker face Bertie from the 1980s. The stickers are starting to wear off a little bit, but it's probably because of age, because this was like 30 plus. This toy is like 30 plus years old at the point. It was made on the 274th day of 1989. But you can tell, yeah, well, this is the only good condition sticker face mold I have. I have Henry, but, well, I did have another one, but I'll explain. I don't have Thomas, Edward Gordon, Henry James, Percy or Toby. But, well, if I ever change my mind and pick those up one day, well, we'll see. Okay, so that's all of the different versions of the models that I have, including the metallics, as well as different versions of Thomas. You already saw the Scrap Trevor and Falcon in the previous sections of the video. We're going to be looking at the extra models that I own, so stay tuned. Alright, we're just about completed with the video, and we're nearly close to the end now. So the next part of this is I'm going to be showing off my extra engines of versions that I already have. Alright then, so this is going to cover engines I have duplicates of, including a lot of them that I had since childhood. So alright, let's get to it then. So here is an extra Thomas, a second Thomas in much worse condition, a U-hook Thomas, which came in that Sodor Viaduct Bridge playset. I'll show a bit more of it later on. Extra Edward, extra Percy. This is in fact, to tell the truth, this is a lime green Percy. The Percy that you saw from the first part of the video is actually an apple green Percy, which the paint shades are slightly a bit different, but you can tell, have a Henry. I think they did a duck as well. They did Henry. I think there can be found in some places, but I've only had the apple green. But I don't know which is more common, the lime green or the apple green. You decide that. But anyways, because this one's in better condition. I think the apple green Percy's are just hard. The paint is hard to chip for me. I don't know if that's a coincidence. But anyways, alright, moving on now. We have my childhood Toby, childhood Donald, extra Donald, childhood Douglas with broken cufflinks and the front one broke off years ago, extra Douglas, childhood Diesel. Oh man, those poor eyes. I don't want to say anything about the eyes because that's just too disturbing. Anyways, extra Diesel, extra Bill, extra Ben. I think that one came from my grandparents. Childhood Mavis, extra Mavis, which appears to be a bit suntanned, who's been in the sun too long, or even storage for that matter. Childhood Flying Scotsman. I'm sorry for the bad lighting and quality there. I'm just filming this later in the day because it's getting quite dark as I speak. Childhood Stepney, childhood D261, childhood Harry, extra Bert, childhood Lady that I got off a friend, childhood Spur that came from a friend as well, childhood Salty, childhood Harvey, childhood Emily, childhood Neil, childhood D199, childhood 16. This is a bit of a custom, but I accidentally did spoil this a bit too soon. But this is a custom TV series accurate Renius, as you can see. I attempted to repaint the pink livery to make it look like his TV series counterpart. Maybe it won't. Yeah, I'm sorry as the focus is not going good, but yeah, this is my attempt at trying to make Renius with his accurate TV series livery. It's not good on camera, but at this time of day, but it's the best I can do. I did actually spoil this. Ooh, sorry about that. So anyway, moving on, we have my childhood sandal, which the funnel broke off, but we'll see that in due time. Childhood Peter Sam, extra Peter Sam. Childhood Rusty, extra Rusty, childhood Duncan, extra Duncan, childhood Sir Topham hat, childhood Dowager hat, childhood Bertram, childhood Godred, childhood Lord Harry. Colby, sorry. This is my childhood Lord Harry. This is the U-hook version, but yeah, I was a bit destructive as a kid. As you can see, a lot of my UK exclusive ERTLs are in really poor shape. That's why I wanted to get replacements. Childhood Frank, childhood Santa Hat Thomas, childhood Silver Millennium Thomas, childhood Trevor, extra Bulgy. This is not my childhood Bulgy. Childhood Bulgy is long gone. Extra George. Notice how in the roadway section he had different eye positions. He's looking to the left. Childhood Butch, childhood Laurie 1, childhood Laurie 2, childhood Laurie 3, childhood Cranky, childhood Thumper, extra Elizabeth, who's missing her dumper, childhood Jack, childhood Stormhat's car, an extra Sir Topham Hatt's car, which came in the Sodor Viaduct set, which I'll show in a bit, childhood Softside Lorry, childhood Sodor Mail Van, 2 fire engines. This one is my childhood on the left, and this one is an extra. 2 Sodor taxis, both of which are my childhood models. Childhood Bulstrode, extra Sodor Maid barge, extra Tiger Moth the biplane, missing the propellers, and an extra crawler crane that I got off of eBay with a couple of pieces of slate. 2 Annies, 1 Clarabelle, extra Isabella, 3 express coaches from childhood which are missing the pins, childhood Toad, the U-hook, which is missing its beams, another childhood Toad which is missing its couplings, childhood Spiteful Brake Van, childhood breakdown train without the hook, Oh, I forgot to mention this. Oh, I already showed that off already. Childhood Scruffy, Childhood Toybox Scruffy, another set of 4 troublesome trucks with broken couplings, 2 more flatbeds, the Scrap Whale Wagon and the Chinese Dragon, which have the couplings broken off, and an extra 2 defused gunpowder vans with the original couplings broke off, and I got cut off some matchsticks so they could get some new coupling hooks. And then this one isn't really Thomas related. This is a Matchbox diesel. I think it's Matchbox, but I could be wrong. It's not in the best shape, but I could use it for like for customization purposes, and maybe for like scrap dressing or some sort. So I think that might be a good idea one day. Oh yeah, sorry, I'm a bit distracted here. Okay, so those are all the extra engines and pieces of rolling stock, including childhood pieces. So the next section will be covering something interesting. Oh, sorry, 1 second. So stick around. Before we get to the next section, I want to show off something else that I want to point out in this video. I'm going to be showing off a few bits and bobs. These 2 in front here are just some broken Annie and Clairels, which I was going to use to make customs out of, but I just never really got around to it, so I'm probably not sure what I'm going to do with those yet. But here is the interesting part. You already saw this custom. This was my attempt at a TV series accurate Vermilion livery Renius. As you can tell, the paint is a bit shoddy in some places. It's covering up a bit of his stickers, but I'll try and touch up on that in due time. And then let's look at some of these, which are scrap models from really old beaten up ERTL toys. So this one here, you can see, I've shown these before. And this is a Thomas. This one was made from an Edward. This one was made from my childhood sticker face Henry, which I don't have an extra of. This one was made from an extra Henry, 3D face Henry. And this one was made from my childhood James. And this one was made from an extra Bertie, who lost all his stickers. And funnily enough, this one was made from a Bluebell, which coincidentally, which was already missing a few of her wheels when I got it. So no doubt I would consider that to be a coincidence. Okay, so that was just me showing off some custom models. So here we are. We have a few more bits to show, and then we'll be done. We're just about finished, and I'm just about finishing the video here. But there are a few more things I want to show off. Is some ERTL models from other ranges as well. We're going to be looking at one row at a time, and eventually we will get round to the end, but I'm just about done. And oh, I almost forgot to point out a couple of things that I missed out from the previous section. And in case you missed it, I did not show off a couple of customs. This here is my failed custom of the truck that I attempted to make, because, well, I attempted to make this back in 2021, but never got around to finishing it. It just stays there as it was never completed, so I'll pretty much have to get around to finishing one day. This one here, you might recognize this. I haven't showed this off yet. This is a custom of that little engine, the Rusty's Ghost engine from Duncan Gets Spooked, which I painted black. As according to when the Season 5 rushes from Thomas Tank merch were shared, it shows that this is the livery of the little engine. There was a deleted scene which this engine was carrying its black livery, and it has a crew in its cab, and it didn't have a face, but it does have a face in the episode though. Well, it does actually have a face, I was wrong. The buffers are a bit bent, but that's okay. I painted it black all over as to match the one scene in the Season 5 rushes. Now that's pretty much all there is, but anyways, let's go back to the colour section of the video. We're going to be looking at this section, we're going to be looking at models from other brands that are not Thomas related. Starting off here from Postman Pat, we have Postman Pat's van, that says Pat's 1, and Postman Pat's bus. So this Postman Pat's bus here, you may notice how it's a little bit beat up, and the stickers have been worn a little, and you may notice it's missing the Pat 2 license plate. I'd like to get a new one eventually, but that will happen in due time. Okay, but anyways, moving on to the next section, we have the tug stuff, which will cover the only 2 characters ever released with the star switches, those being 10 Cents and Sunshine. And the last section, from Theodore Tugboat, we have Theodore, Hank, and Foduck. So those were all the characters from different brands that were not Thomas themed, but I want to show off one last thing before we end the video. That is a surprise. Take it away. Alright, here we are for the final section of this video. It's going to be covering up the ERTL boxes I have for items that I have for the sets. These are a couple of sets that I own, and I'll explain more on that later. But before we should go off. Okay, sorry to keep you all. Okay, let's go on to the first part. This is the Sodor Viaduct bridge playset. This is just mainly the main bits, which include the viaduct and those 2 you saw in the video. I also have that redesigned track. It also has traffic lights and the signals and the level crossing gates. I have another level crossing as well, but it's missing its actual gates. Yeah, so it's a really nice bridge. So we have another set as well, which is the turntable playset, includes the engine shed. I don't have all the bits out, which I don't have time for. I did a really bad job assembling the shed, by the way, but you can see what you get an idea from. And we have some accessory sets, which are the crane and the water tower. They do have tracks, but I'm keeping them in the box. And then we have this quarry set with this truck that came with it, which I spoke about earlier. And then let's get to the last thing, which I did not show off in my previous collection video. It's this mini weld stuff. As you can see, this is a new in box Thomas and windmill set, and this was an item that I never had as a kid. I had almost everything, but this was the only one that I was missing. I don't plan to get like the mini sticker face models anytime soon, so this will just have to suffice. Also, here are the accessories, and this is like a little board thing that you can build inside it, and here are some extra scenery stuff you also get with it, and also here are the extra ERTL things. I don't know why I have 2 of each, but I might end up like maybe selling 1 or 2 of them, but we'll see in due time. So that was pretty much my entire ERTL collection, but not including any other die-cast range, but it was just mainly the stuff that was what I had on with me. It was just mainly ERTL I wanted to focus on. So, thank you all for watching this video, and I'll hopefully see you again soon. I know it's been a bit late because I've just been really busy, but hopefully this will make up for it. So, have a good day, folks. Bye for now.